cropping or farming in a way that farmers do not practice monocropping. It helps in ensuring that there is no buildup of diseases. For instance, I can use an example of one species of a crop. If a farmer does, let's say tomatoes, we all know that there are those pests which are bound or species specific to a certain species of a crop.
Okay.
For instance, tuta absoluta. Most of our farmers nowadays are over-relying on use of synthetic pesticides, which on the other side is harming our soil due to the buildup of toxic substances in our soil, which in the long run will cause phytotoxicity, plant phytotoxicity.
Yep.
So we encourage farmers to practice crop rotation to ensure that the pest, that is, let's say, tuta absoluta for instance, the cycle of it is broken. Let's say if a farmer does tomatoes for a season of 6 months,
Yep.
thereafter he plants something like maize. Tuta absoluta doesn't affect maize. So that means the cycle will be broken, and therefore farmers will use less chemicals in the long run, hence our soil will be healthy.
So this tuta absoluta, because I've had it so many times, and it looks like it's a new pest that just came up the other day. What other crops does it attack? So now we know tomatoes.
It affects mostly Solanaceae family, but major crop of concern is tomato. We have crops like managu. I hope you know it.
Managu, tunakulanga managu sana.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you find tuta. If there is no tomato, you can find it there.
Okay.
Yes.
So is it a worm? Is it an insect that flies? Is it like what is it?
It's a moth, but the most destructive stage is the larval stages. Yes.
Because that is when it is eating proper.
It burrows into the fruit. You can find them in the leaves.
Yeah.
But mostly, if you cut your tomato, you'll find some doo-doo inside.
Yes.
Or in case it is there, but the tomato will be rotten in the long run.
Yeah, this is.
And you see, it has made farmers to use a lot of chemicals. If I may ask you, how many tomatoes do you consume in a day?
Let's say per meal, because I have a large family, we'll probably cook 3 tomatoes. And I'm talking about the large ones that are almost the size of an orange.
While choosing your tomatoes in the market, which one do you go for? Definitely
the red one. The red one.
Best quality. How much chemicals do you think you're consuming? You can't tell.
Yes, but I make sure that I wash my tomatoes very well.
But you can't wash inside, man.
Even inside?
You can't. You see, these chemicals, the synthetic ones, nearly all of them are made in a way that it has to be absorbed into the plant itself, even the fruit. And the biggest challenge currently in Kenya is we are facing a lot of misuse of these synthetic chemicals or inorganic chemicals. You find a farmer can spray today, let's say there is no market for tomato or any other crop.
Right.
Then all of a sudden, the market dynamic changes. And the broker comes the same day of spray. Do you think that farmer will stop harvesting? I will sell. That's why we're encouraging farmers to use, to practice rotation so that they can minimize the over-reliance on use of these chemicals.
I have a question.
Yes.
So this particular chemical, and you've called it inorganic because it is very synthetic.
It's synthetic.
It will not be broken down.
Yeah.
So if I use this chemical on my tomatoes, after how long should I harvest them and probably sell them? Ama hiyo chemical ikishafika ni hivyo, haitaitoka?
No. We've got something called pre-harvest interval. That means from the time of spray, how many days do you give it to clear before you harvest? And it is well written in the label of the chemical. There are some chemicals which have 1 day PHI, that is pre-harvest interval, 2 days, 3 days, up to 42 days. So most farmers do not observe that at the end of the day. So it's our mandate to train them, and we've got organizations in the country, like K24, they regulate what is registered under which crop.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we have unscrupulous dealers who sneak in the banned chemicals. That's the biggest challenge we have at the moment.
Sami, let me just rope you into this conversation. I know you're not necessarily an expert in chemicals, but by the time we are getting these things into the market, isn't, and like you said, some unscrupulous businessmen who might even bring them through maybe Uganda, Tanzania, Somalia, or wherever they pass them through. Don't we have regulation to ensure that these things are not getting to the market?
Let me mention, not as an expert, but as someone who has been dealing with farmers basically on day-to-day basis, it's a challenge that is happening on the farms. And that's why we create forums where we train them and teach them about that. Now, going back to the same point is that they bring products because they don't know the effects they have. So they will smuggle the products maybe from outside the country, and they think that this product is going to help them. These products have not been regulated by the government bodies. The government bodies have done their job because they vet the products, and they say these products, they are not allowed to be used in the farm. But because our farmers have not yet learned a lot, they have not been given the right awareness.
Yes.
Now they smuggle in the products. Now, just to highlight from my from my day-to-day exposure, is that some of these chemicals, they have what you call residue effects that go beyond the product, the produce that come from the farm. So the residue effect can also be on the soil. It can also have a negative effect on the person who is using that chemicals. So when you say this, when you hear that product has been banned in the country, there always has a reason for that.
Yeah.
We also notice that apart from the PHI that Ruto has talked about, you see, when you talk about you have given the number of days before you harvest a produce, it means that chemical needs to be, when it is got into the system of the plant, you need to give it time for it to get rid from the system of the plant.
Yes.
And it can only do that when it is alive. So you cannot expect that
when what is alive? The plant is alive.
The plant is in the farm.
So
like, for example, the tomato, before it is harvested, you need to give it enough time for it to get out of the system. So it has already
to get rid of the chemical.
To get rid of the chemicals.
Maybe I can say for the chemical to break down.
For the chemical.
You see, when you harvest your tomato and you place it somewhere, there is nothing going on actually.
Photosynthesis has stopped.
Transpiration has stopped.
Metabolism.
Everything has stopped. Right? Yes. It's only that ripening continues, but the chemical is still inside.
On top of that, you see, government bodies also ensure that the rate of application is also regulated. That's why they go through the regulatory bodies. So if a company brings in the new product in the market, it has to go through the vetting by the government regulatory bodies. So that includes even the kind of rate of application that you indicate on the container. So if it is written 2 ml for every 20 mLs of water, they have a reason as to why they have that rate of application. So if the farmer is not aware, he will feel like this challenge has become too much. So if you go 2 ml, he will feel like 10 ml will be more effective. But there is a reason as to why that packaging has that information. Yes. Then there was also the issue of, on the same issue, is that we have chemicals, they are meant for the rightful purposes. Like, for example, from the manufacturer, a chemical is meant to spray on cows for the ticks. But a farmer might assume this one will be more effective on tuta absoluta. So they spray on tomatoes. So at the end of the day, that chemical gets to your plate. So we as positive stewards, we always ensure that apart from the fact that we are trying to sell our produce, we train and give this kind of awareness for at least our farmers to be concerned about the health effects of the produce.
All right. Brenda, we're taking a break in how long, so that I can know what question to ask. Okay, we're about to take a break. So before we get to the break, I think we'll focus on water and you know, how we can effectively use water, but maybe you can just touch on it for a minute in terms of effective water use amongst farmers. And do we have effective water use, like is there varieties of plants that use water effectively?
Maybe to begin with, we all know that in our planet currently, water is a scarce resource due to climate change and what have you. So it is upon the human beings or us as people, we have to really adopt technologies that will ensure that we save on water use, and even the little that we have, we make effective use of it. In this case, I will talk about two things. First of all, mode of water application or irrigation. I will start with drip irrigation, which is the most effective way of water application with a plant. In other words, irrigation. You see, when using drip lines, we also will ensure that the water is applied
Directly
to the plant.
Yes.
No water, and minimize wastage. Unlike flooding, whereby you flood the entire shamba,
Yeah.
then you waste like 80. You use 80%. You use 50%. You waste 50%.
Yes.
So we are encouraging our farmers to adopt drip irrigation if they can afford to,
Yeah.
of which I know they are, given despite of the challenges of the high cost of living nowadays, you know, pumping costs and the rest. For those guys in semi-arid areas, they can take advantage of water collection or water harvesting using shallow ponds or ponds for future use when there is no rain. Getting back to our side now, as Royal Seed, we've tried our best through technology to come up with plant varieties that are water efficient. When I say water efficient, I mean plants that use less water, or crop varieties that use less water. Even if we have short rains, someone can still have something.
So it's like the plant has a reservoir, or what happens?
No, it doesn't require a lot of water for it.
Yes.
To produce. No, not to germinate.
To produce.
To produce. For people with short rains like 2 months, we've got some maize that can take 3 months. That is 80 days from planting to maturity.
To harvesting.
Yes.
You know what? Let's take a short break on that one. When we return, we will start with that maize variety so that we can know what other plants as well have got that similar characteristic, what they do in their laboratories, if at all they do this in the labs, to ensure that you get that maize or that collard green or that manago that we talked about earlier. So don't go too far. We'll be right back.
Catch this game live on K24. Have you watched K24? We would love to hear from you. Send us your feedback on what you like and what you don't like and why. You can use any platform to reach us. We can be reached on Facebook, SMS, Twitter, and WhatsApp.
Upande wa Ilpolei tumepata kiangazi muda mrefu sana. Ng'ombe zimekufa.
Today we are in Ilpolei in Laikipia North, and guess what? We're here with Lotto Foundation. We're ready to give food to the community. Leo ni njema kabisa.
Asante sana.
Munasema asante.
Tunashukuru, mrudi tena tuletee.
Ndio hivyo.
Asante, Mungu awabariki na tukumbuke kesho kutu.
Every time you play Lotto, 25% goes to the Lotto Foundation, which supports our fellow Kenyans through various causes. Thank you for your help. Together, we are changing lives.
Mafanikio hayaji kwa bahati. Ni matokeo ya bidii, uvumilivu, kujifunza, kusoma, kujituma na zaidi ya yote, kukipenda unachokifanya.
Kupata mafanikio kama skiza tune yako, dial *811 *614#.
Welcome back. This is K24 this morning, and it's a Thursday, so we're talking about technology. And today, focusing on agricultural technology. You know, people wakisikia technology wanafikirianga simu, TV, gari. You know, technology is everywhere. Even there's medical technology, biomedical technology, biotechnology. All of that is technology. So today, we're focusing on agricultural technology, precision farming, precision agriculture, sustainable agriculture, whatever name you want to give it. At the end of the day, we want to make sure that if you're a farmer, things are looking good for you. I have a question on my phone here, and I will, before we go to the WhatsApp messages, there's a question here, and Abraham, I think this one is for you. Someone is asking what those kuna mamas or rather wanawake selling fruits in the streets of Nairobi, and they are applying something that is shining like some oil, which looks like it has been applied on the particular fruit, and the women keep on rubbing that fruit with that particular oil or some kitamba or whatever. What is that? Because I usually buy apples, sometimes not even, forget even on the streets, even in our local shop. Unapata yo apple inakaa nika imepakwa Vaseline. What is that?
I get your point, huh?
Yeah.
We call that waxing.
Oh, waxing.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
In this industry in food industry, there are those wax. There is a wax that is allowed to be used to prevent water loss.
Okay.
Yes, it helps in preventing dehydration and in improving the shelf life.
Yes.
Of the farm produce, mostly fruits. Yes, that's what.
Is it safe to consume?
I can't say it's safe, but don't laugh. What I know is that there are those wax that are allowed to be used. Food grade, we call it food grade wax.
Food grade wax.
Yes. Unless I can't, you know, when you go to the street, you cannot tell which wax has been used. But if you go to the supermarket, be guaranteed that they are using the best or the approved wax to be used in in fruits.
All right.
That's it.
Sami, have you ever experienced that waxing?
That's interesting. It's a new idea.
When
I go to the supermarket, I find it very shiny. It's a nice thing we have an expert who can explain that is the waxing. So it seems like they are safe wax that can be used. And I hope that we don't have other unscrupulous sources.
You know what I usually do? When I take that fruit, I usually go back to the house and I wash it with soap and water. Because mimi siamini hizi vitu zinapaka.
That is the best practice to do.
Yeah.
If you go to these agro-processing zones like fresh produce handling sections, like pack houses, when we are packing our fruits like avocados, we have to wax it to prolong the ripening. So that before, from the time it leaves our country to the market destination, it gets there when it is still fresh. But we have we have some other people like what I don't know which term to use. Scrabblers, sellers. If you go if you happen to stop by a place called Kenmo in Murang'a, you want to buy avocado.
Kila mtu anajua Kenmo.
You want to buy an avocado.
Yes.
They'll tell you it is a hash avocado, and you know what they do? They paint it with something.
Wait, they paint?
Yes.
They paint the avocado?
Yes. Do you know permanganate?
Yes, I know permanganate.
You pick something, you know it's very ripe. When you get home, you wash it, my friend. Everything goes and it's green. I've experienced it myself.
But for avocado, si unafinya hivi ujue kama imeiva ndani.
They don't allow you to do that. They will tell you once you press it, you have to take it.
Utaharibu. So nunua,
you go, when you get home, you know you have some ripe avocados, like 3 of them. When you wash it, the permanganate goes. It remains green.
I saw such a video actually online, and it was circulating very much on WhatsApp. People were saying that plants nowadays, fruits are being painted. And I actually saw that one that he's talking about, the Moranga one. Sami, sijui kama umeona, unajua uko ndio kwenu?
Yeah, I saw that trending. Yes. Nitatetea wakulima wangu ndio.
Munapaka permanganate?
What we are doing, you know, apart from the fact that we are trying to sell farm inputs,
yes,
there is a major concern for our farmers. Let me start by defining who is a farmer. A farmer is someone, the way I've worked with them on day-to-day basis.
Yes.
These are people who wake up every single day to go and take care of produce. And they don't know whom they are going to sell to. You know, if you are a doctor, you know you are patient.
Okay.
A farmer is working tirelessly and targeting someone he doesn't know, but he is sure that it will go somewhere. Secondly, a farmer is not someone who is like professionally trained to become a farmer. Anyone can become a farmer.
Yeah.
So me and you today, nobody will say you don't have qualification to become a farmer. So those are people who needs training and guidance all the way. Now, if we are the real industry players, we need to be stewards and create like informative information and give sources for the market for the farmers.
Okay.
Because I think sometimes also it might not stop at where they are. We understand that someone who has really worked hard in the farm and is really concerned on where to sell. So we come in and try to ensure that as much as we are trying to help them in terms of management of those produce, we also create kind of awareness for the market for them.
All right.
So we work with them like stewards to avoid such kind of funny scenarios.
I think we will create a separate episode for this. Just talk about the scammers out there as far as farming is concerned. Let's check out, I think we have a WhatsApp message in regards to where we left our conversation earlier on about maize. Hi, I am William Kipilangat of Chepsion, Kericho. What happened with the male-only maize seed which did not produce grain somewhere in Marakwet? How did that mistake happen? William is asking, I think this is also directed to you, Bwana Abraham.
Definitely. Bwana William, whatever happened in Marigat, or was it Perkera?
I have no idea.
It must have been Perkera irrigation scheme.
Yes.
It's something that can happen to anyone. It's something common. During seed multiplication or bulking, there are some procedures or protocols that we normally observe. Number one, we have to know the number of male lines and the ratio, let's say the ratio of male lines to the female lines. I think in that scenario, I won't want to talk much about that, but I'll give a farmer a hint of what happened. There must have been a gap between males and the females, so there was insufficient pollination.
Okay.
And this must have resulted due to maybe ignorance from the person who was concerned, or some environmental factors that we may discuss maybe in future about that. But I will say, what I will say, the ratio of males to the females could have been greatly huge.
Shouldn't it be 50-50?
No, what we do, normally we have one line of male to 3 lines of female. Or the timing, maybe what they did, they must have planted males and females at the same time. You see what they have to do, males should be planted a week or two earlier.
They mature.
So that by the time it is tasseling, by the time it is the female produces the cobs, the male is already ready, the pollen is ready to fertilize it.
Yes.
That is it. That's what I can say.
Yeah. So the situation that he's talking about that happened in Marakwet was investigated and they found where the problem was?
No, investigation is still ongoing.
Oh, it is still ongoing? It is something that happened recently?
It's recently.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So some guys, some experts are out there in the field investigating what might have happened.
Wow.
That is it.
All right. Yes. Okay. One more question before we get back to...
Before we continue, maybe, or another thing, it could have been sabotage.
Sabotage?
Yep.
But who would want to do that?
Some people can.
For what purpose?
Some people can do it. You see, if I know this guy will benefit, let's say, for instance, he will benefit from seed multiplication.
Yes.
You know, the cost of seed is on the higher side as opposed to the normal maize, the dry maize that we consume at home. Somebody might say, this guy will make money. So what we can do, we can mislead them, we can give them wrong information so they don't win it.
What?
Yep.
Kwa farmers pia mko na chuki?
It is there.
Okay.
Sabotage is there everywhere, I think, in all industries.
Yes.
If someone sees that, but it's something not common, but it happens there.
Okay. I think Abraham knows more than he wants to say right now. So we'll allow him that leeway for now. Let's move on to another question. Brenda, tafadhali nisaidie na swali la pili. Here we go. Instead of inorganic chemicals, which organic pesticides can be recommended? Moon kutoka Mombasa.
In this country, organic farming may not be achievable, but we try as much as possible to minimize the use of inorganic chemicals or synthetic pesticides. And it entails a lot of things. We talk of IPM. IPM entails a lot of cultural practices, use of organic substances or chemicals. We have use of chemicals, but on lower levels when need be. You see, there are some issues to do with pest threshold when you have to apply chemicals, but we encourage safe use of chemicals in the long run. Whereby when I say safe use, you don't have to use, when you see a pest, let's say 1 or 2 pests, you don't have to spray a dawa there. You can do spot spray or you can rogue out a crop. But organic farming in Kenya per se is not achievable because of the environmental factors that we have in the country. I can do my best as a farmer, but my neighbor has left his farm to be highly infested by pests, which in turn will transmit diseases
to yours,
to mine. So at the end of the day, I'll have to use chemicals unless I'm isolated, unless I'm working in a cocoon or a greenhouse somewhere, whereby all the factors are controlled. But I would encourage him to use some neem extracts for control of most of the pests. If they want to do like a fertilizer, they can use organic matter or manure, but well-ripened ones for this case.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes, Sami, please do.
In the industry of agriculture, there are so many interesting concepts that normally come up, and something that really pops up so many times is what we call integrated pest management. It's a very interesting way, even if you're talking about organic control or chemical control. There are other modes that you can control some of these challenges you experience in the farm, like pest control. There is also what you call biological control, and also to an extent, we have a situation where we use physical control.
Yeah.
So as much as there is this debate, which is better, which is convenient, for us, we advocate for an integrated approach.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
For solutions.
We're not condemning all these chemicals. If they're used in the right way, and people observe the correct pHIs and the rest, it is still safe for us. That's why we normally train on safe use and handling of pesticides. Something can be toxic, yes, but if you use it in the right way to target that pest and observe the pHIs, it is still safe for consumption. The biggest challenge in our country, and let's say most of these countries, like we are dealing with fresh produce, we focus so much on what we export to ensure that they are safe, then we forget ourselves back
for
in
the
country,
local consumption.
That is the biggest challenge, and we are advocating for equalization so that we ensure anything that is produced in the country, whether it's going to the abroad markets or it is consumed here in Nairobi or anywhere in the country, is safe for consumption.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Maswali ni mengi, muda ni mfupi, and we've hardly even scratched the surface. I think I want to ask question number 3 here, and this is again to you, Abraham. How does your company address climate variability through development and promotion of climate resilient seed varieties? Again, I think we're just coming back to the question of what seed varieties are for whether mvua ni kidogo ama mvua ni mingi.
Yes. I'll begin from where we had left earlier. we had talked of our hybrid maize. This maize, like we mentioned, that maize that can do well in areas with less water. The example of such varieties, we have a maize called RS5101,
yes,
WE2109, where WE stands for water efficient. That means if you grow your maize, let's say you are in Ukambani, for instance.
Yes, I'm
using it. No, I'm using it as an example.
Yes, yes.
You go to parts of Kitui to experience low rainfall.
Right.
If it happens that you do timely planting of this maize, and the rains chooses to tries to or opts to disappear when it is at the tasseling stage, you will come home with something, because whatever energy and the water it has accumulated in its biomass will ensure that it will give you at least something, some maize in it. We have some sorghum, which is meant for human consumption and brewing. We do that mostly in parts of Tharaka-Nithi and even Ukambani, Kitui. It's called SWGS 3003. It's a short-term crop, 2 months crop. Our company has really impressed in technology in ensuring that we come up with these solutions,
yes,
which not only help farmers in improving their livelihoods, but also fights hunger and ensure food security in the country.
All right.
Yes, that's what we do.
Speaking
Good
on,
stuff. Yes, Mwea.
Speaking on resilience, I might also pop in something about technology.
Please do.
Now, you'll have a good seed variety, also the way you handle it. And it has to start from the point where it is a seed all the way to the way you convert it into a plant. And that's why Agitech comes in on what we do. Now, we give intensive care that we come up with seedlings that are hardy enough. Actually, in our units, we have a process that we call hardening. We harden it. We expose the plant to extreme kind of condition that is, it's strong enough to sustain itself when it goes to the farm.
Yes.
So you can actually see from the screen that those seedlings,
yes,
they are hardy enough. You cannot compare with the normal seedlings that you normally find in the farm. Yes. So when you transplant it, it also goes through a process that after the hardening, the roots are quite entrenched together.
Yes.
So when you move it to the farm, they don't even notice. Let me say they have some sort of emotion. So when you transplant from one point to the other, they go through what you call stress. Because you see, in the normal way, the old systems, removing from the nursery to the main shamba, you know, you'll damage some part of the roots.
By, as you're plucking it from the soil.
Yes, but with the kind of technology we are using there, no part of the root is damaged.
It moves 100%.
It moves quite intact.
Wow.
So there is no shock. So when you talk about resilience, even that crop is able to sustain itself in the new environment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe
that is something
I can add something on what my colleague has said about hardening. You see, in a propagation unit, most of those seedlings are in a controlled environment. Now, when you transfer it from the propagation unit to the farm, it will be subjected to stress. So before you take it out there, you have to subject this stress while it is still here, so that by the time you take it out there, you have confused it.
So
it will just pick it up. And
it is like monolizing it.
Yes.
Yep.
You know the process when you get into Form 1, unagonga kidogo mpaka uzoe.
Exactly.
All right.
Maybe before we proceed, there's something there's a question you ask that is very crucial.
Yes.
About variety suitability to different agroecological zones. You know, it's challenging so much in this country at the moment, not in the country, but in the growing world. Somebody takes a variety that belongs to a cooler regions to hotter areas, then they start saying, oh, it's about a seed. Nay. As a company, as Royal Seed, what we've done, we've done some series of trials in different growing zones.
Okay.
We call them agroecological growing zones, whereby we have varieties through tests and trials. We have varieties that does well in cooler areas. We have some for warmer areas and hotter areas. If someone needs an example, for instance, in vegetable industry, I can talk of cabbages. For instance, if you're looking for a cabbage for a cooler area, you can try a cabbage by the name Fabiola F1 for mid, warm to cool to warm to cool, or something like that. You're looking for Jabali F1, that's an intermediate between hot and cool. Then for hotter areas, we have varieties like Pretoria F1 in our portfolio.
Okay.
Talking of the other industry of export industry, we've also done quite a lot in beans, but I don't want to mention them right now because of time.
Okay.
Yes.
Actually, we have 5 minutes, and I'll ask you one last question before I move to Sami. Sami also has something to do with mentorship for farmers. We'll get to that in a short while. Last question, because wakati umeisha. Can you elaborate on your company's efforts to promote soil health management? I know you mentioned that whole rotational farming.
Yes.
So where today nieke managu hapa, kesho nieke mahindi.
Yes.
Yeah. So maybe in terms of other methods of promoting soil health, what else does Royal Seeds do?
We trained farmers on importance of using farmyard manure or compost, which not only helps in improving soil structure, but also ensures that what we talked earlier of resilience and effective uses of water. What we do, we train farmers on use of organic matter, which will help in water holding capacity and maybe soil conditioning crops such as mustard seed, whereby we plant mustard as a short-term crop for rotation, and then we incorporate them into the soil. It has got an effect, an effect of repelling some of the doodles in the soil, like nematodes. It's a very effective way of repelling them from the soil. Again, we've talked of minimizing the use of these pesticides earlier on. You see, like I said earlier, when you use a lot of pesticides, we have some residues that will go into the soil, and it will make the soil toxic. So when we apply these soil conditioning agents like manure, it will help in breaking down these molecules in the soil.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Sami, moving over to you, mentorship. What in a nutshell, maybe you can just let us know. You're mentoring farmers do what? Is there like a program they get into? Do they come to the university? What happens?
Yeah, just like I'd mentioned earlier, the field of farmers is not someone who is an expatriate per se. Anybody can be a farmer. You don't need a specific qualification to do farming. So we as industry players, we create platforms for them to get more enhancement in knowledge. Now, Bonaruto here cannot teach you everything that he knows in one day. So we create forums that we have a knowledge transfer from the expert to normal people.
Yes.
Actually, such kind of a setup, if we get an avenue to talk about what we do in the field of agriculture, that's a platform for knowledge transfer. You also want to create continuous relationship. You know, in the process of their farming, when they're managing their produce, we want to work with them all the way. So we need an expert, an agronomist all the way to be always with them. Through those forums also, we create avenue for peer-to-peer engagement, where a farmer who has succeeded and a farmer who is starting up, they interact, they talk to each other, they refer to their sources of information. Those are the things that we try to achieve. Now we achieve them through different activities that we create through our different platforms. And it's so easy for us to do the marketing through such kind of approach. Because for us, we don't go with the name of the product, but we go with the solution.
Okay.
So if we can like talk about soil health, we are concerned about soil health. So what are the factors that we need to consider in soil health? We are concerned on drought resilience products. So what factors do we need to consider? Your products will definitely position itself because our concern is for the farmer to succeed. So that's why we are here in the industry. We create workshops where we bring farmers together, train them, bring an expert like Ruto here, talk to them about specific agenda based on that kind of a group that he has targeted. So for example, if he's targeting coffee farmers, he will talk about coffee issues. If he's targeting tomato farmers, he'll talk about through workshops. We also have what we call field days. So especially when we launch new products, we do them through field days. So where we do the actual planting of the product, and then we bring farmers to see how the product was managed. So and lastly, maybe because it's quite closely connected to what we'll be doing in September, is what we call expos. So through expos, we bring farmers together, different companies showcasing different products. Like for this year at Agitech, we'll be talking about reinventing agriculture through climate smart solutions and technology. And all our presentation, our exhibitions will be geared towards climate change, precision agriculture, sustainability. All this is well connected to the theme that we are focused on.
All right.
So the 2-day event will be characterized by that direct engagement between company representative, company experts with farmers. We'll have lead farmers talking to startup farmers. We'll also have a panel where we'll be discussing about contentious issues that are affecting the field of agriculture. So all this will be running in a very nice formal setup.
For someone who's probably hearing it for the first time, it's happening on the 8th and the 9th of September.
Yes,
all right.
It will be on a Friday and Saturday. It will be on your way towards Mwea. There's a section there, a town called Mutithi.
Mutithi?
Yes, Mutithi. It's just a few kilometers towards Mwea. Mwea is along that highway towards Embu Meru, that highway.
All right.
So it's not far. It's only 30 minutes, 1.5 hours to Mutithi from Nairobi.
Okay.
So everyone is actually invited.
In terms of contacts, so that they can get in touch and maybe inquire more. For someone who's actually hearing this for the first time, amesikia na amefurahia, anataka kuwapigia simu aulize maswali. Apige namba gani ama
so information yetu, tunatumia we use social media a lot. That's why I'm saying we use a lot of digital platforms to disseminate our information. So on our platform, we have a website that is www.agitech-expo.com.
Okay.
So from that website, we have our contacts there. You can reach out to us anytime.
All right.
We also have on Facebook, Agitech Grand Expo 2023. That's the hashtag. You might follow us. And also on YouTube, we are there on Mazao na Afya channel.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Abu, watu wakupate namna gani? Royal Seeds, wakitaka kuja kuchukua those resilient ones.
You can reach us through our social media, Facebook Royal Seed Africa. Then you can go to our website, that is www.royalseed.biz.
.biz?
Yeah, .biz, B-I-Z.
Okay.
That's it. You will find all our contacts there. Our toll-free number is there. Everything.
All right.
Reach us.
Thank you very much.
We are located at the river, Transview Estate.
At the river, Transview Estate.
Royal Seed Complex.
1 second. Kuna mtu ameuliza kama makojo ya rabbit inaweza tumika kama pesticide. Is it true? That's a myth.
It's not a myth. Some guys are using it.
Oh.
But you have to run a lot of trials because you can never know at what concentration levels will you use to achieve that effect.
All right.
I also heard that it is used as fertilizer.
Oh, it is fertilizer?
Yes.
Okay, but also pesticide. But utahitaji sungura wengi wakojoe ndio ukuwe na enough quantity, eh?
There are people who do in large scale, so they buy from those.
Oh, you can buy
But
it.
the biggest challenge is how will you know about the composition of this
Yes.
thing?
You know what?
Tell.
This is another show altogether. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Unfortunately, we are out of time. Ninafukuzwa. Thank you very much also to the viewer for coming through as far as that is concerned. But don't go too far. I think nimesikia Shiko Kaitani akitembea mahali hapa for interactive.
When it comes to playing music, we've got you covered. Mixed down by the legendary DJ Blackie. From Caribbean rhythms,
We don't fight for nobody, but we respect everybody. And we better than everybody.
our popular Kenyan jams,
My hands, your waist, my heart, away from Nani.
Afrobeat,
Mambo Mbaya.
dancing to take my eyes off you, especially a bite and move.
And all the way back to the old school and throwback jams. Plus, all the urban hits from across the globe. It's all here on The Beatbox. Monday to Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. only on K24.